Caps Lock, the best game show you've heard about in the last 10 seconds. I'm your host, Christopopoulos Fremen. For the next few minutes, our contestants will compete for the right to cast the early game of G2 versus Excel. This is Caps Lock!
Is it gonna win us the game?
Of course. Now, the rules are simple. I've collected 5 wacky champions that Caps has played. Thank you. Thank you. Quiet. Quiet. I've collected 5 champions that Caps has played in solo queue over the last week or so. The contestants will be given a series of clues and earn points for correctly guessing the champion. Each contestant, that's you, will only be allowed a single guess per round. Let's meet them. First up, hailing all the way from I don't know, is Jake. Jake, thank you for coming on the show. Next up, we let go of my hand. Next we have Eve. Pleasure to have you here as well.
It's such an honor.
Yeah, okay, that's enough of that. And Mike, I can't wait to get you on the show. All right, let's go ahead and bring up our first champion, although we're going to give you a few wacky clues to give you an idea of what you're going to be up against. This first champ was played in solo queue up against a Jace in the mid lane, a wacky counter pick. Go ahead and call out if you would ever like to give an answer. And these are the team comps: a Bel'Veth on the team, a Malphite, perhaps we need an AP champion and an Aftershock. Excuse me, yes?
Ramos.
Remus?
Mikyx.
Is that your final answer? Yes. Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. Remus is the correct answer. Now, I believe we can also show the scoreline that Sir Caps had on the thing. Maybe we don't have the score. We can go ahead and move on to the next if we don't. But what do you think about this Remus? He played the Malphite.
I saw the Flash, I saw the Ghost, I saw the Malphite, his brother-in-arms, armor against Jace, engage, blah, yada, yada, boom, boom, boom.
That's not very good analysis, but 100 points to Jake. I don't know why it says tomato. All right, moving on to the next option here. He was playing up against an Orianna in the mid lane. Orianna, the clockwork, wind-up girl, or whatever. He had some Gragas, some Pantheon on the team. What do we make of this here? Your options are A, Rakan, B, Kog'Maw. Okay, Eve, what is your answer?
Rakan.
Ding, ding, ding! Yeah! That is correct! Well done, Eve. 100 points to Eve on that. All right, we're getting.
But it's so hard. I can't see these things, man. You stole my glasses.
Maybe you should wear some glasses if you're having a difficult time.
Also?
So what do you think about the Rakan mid? This is something Caps has played before. Any thoughts?
I think it's a tried and true thing.
Yes.
And did he pick it once?
I don't know, but it made sense when I saw the face rush.
He's playing with the proto belt as well. A lot about the mobility.
It also made sense to me with the face rush, and then it came up. But you were so slow in saying me.
Yeah, but I wasn't really sure if I was looking at Comet or face rush, so I saw blue. That's how I guessed.
Well.
You're really embarrassing yourself here, Mike. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
It's my job on the
broadcast. And you need every help you can get getting on the caster.
All right, the next champion. Let's go ahead and bring up what it was picked into against in the mid lane. We have an Aurelian Soul. Oh my. Here we have a Flash Ignite Conqueror, and your options are A, Jarvan the Fourth, B, Camille. I'm going to be honest, I don't know who said it. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Mike here because he's been making a fool of himself.
Who's Mike? Am I Mike?
Jarvan.
A Yarvin. Can we give me Yarvin? Oh, no.
Okay,
yes.
Riven, won't go to heaven.
Give me Riven. Ding, ding, ding. Well done. Straight. Haven't talked to me about this Riven pick. What do you think?
We just saw, Riven got buffed, punching turrets, Blade, broken exile thing, BrokenBlade, also champ inspiration, green color. Attack.
This is very poor analysis. I expected better. Let's move right along to our fourth champion. I'm going to give you your options early this time to mix things up while we give out the clues up against the Cho'Gath. Your options are A, Vanyé, B, Trundle, C, Viego, and D, Warwick in the mid lane. Oh, Eve, yes?
Me.
I don't know, but I need points. Warwick.
Warwick. Ooh!
Me.
Said me. Good.
Give me Warwick. What? All right, yes.
I've already said it.
No, it was Mike. I'm sorry, it was Mike.
It's gonna be Viego.
Give me Viego.
Yes, I saw the Conqueror, I saw the Revitalize, I knew Viego's been played mid already, so it feels like with the...
Wait. Let the program tell us if it's true.
I'm not really hearing anything, but I have the answers right here on my sheet, and that is correct. It is indeed
I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, so we have Rhaenys, Rakan, Riven, Viego. So many amazing picks. Now, again, we are going in to the final champion. If we have a tie, we will have a
Grudge match.
Face.
Oh.
Oh. I'm gonna steal my glasses back for this last one.
We will have a grudge match. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the 5th champion. Production, please bring up its counter pick in the mid lane. This is an exciting one. We have a lot of wonderful options. We have a Gragas in the mid lane. Your options are A, Shyvana, B, Kennen, C, Singed, and D, Nico. Oh, Mike.
Mape.
With that first strike, oh my
3,
lord.
2, 1.
Shyvana. No, wait, I'm in.
No,
What would you like?
Hey,
What is your final answer?
Nico.
Meep.
No. Eve was first on the prediction here. Yes.
Oh. What are you looking
You can't
at?
phone a friend. What is this? This is absurd.
I don't know. Kennen?
9.
No. What's it?
Jake, please give me your answer now. Yes.
What were the options? The options are gone.
No.
Well, you already meet.
No,
The options were Shyvana, Kennen, Singed, or Nico.
This is not. Oh, wait, I was
let's
right.
keep in mind, he went 8, 3, and 3, so it's not completely true. It actually did pretty good. And maybe we could go ahead
So
and
he
throw
said
up the
Nico, you took
build
Kennen.
as well.
He said Shyvana also.
Oh, so I can just wait. I can just see.
Yeah, but I
Answer.
should have said Shyvana. I'm insane.
No. Oh, I thought.
Can we see the build, please? Here comes the build.
Yes.
5,
That's
4,
Nico.
3. He already said Nico.
Yes,
You
Shyvana.
Shyvana.
No, he said
Eve is
Shyvana.
correct with Shyvana. That will bring us to a tie. A head-to-head grudge match between
I
Jake
thought
and
his
Eve.
guess
You
was
do not
Shyvana.
listen. Knock it off again. This is for the right to cast the very first few minutes of this next game. And it will
I
be
can't
decided
win.
by a battle of wits, a battle of analysts that Trevor, Quickshot, and you will certainly appreciate. Rock, paper, scissors, immediately. You will go on, shoot. Here we go.
Okay, but what is it? 1, 2.
It's on 4, right?
Yes,
on
on
4.
four.
On
On
4.
four, yes.
Got it.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Best of 3?
No best of 3. You didn't say it.
Jake is going to go. Please go up to the caster desk. Yes, well done. Well done, sir. Yes, very well done. Fantastic work.
Well done,
all
well
throughout
done,
here.
well
Can I please get an
Well
autograph
done.
or something?
Yes,
Well
yes.
Okay.
I'll give you an autograph.
I'd like to
Don't
take
not
this
think-
chance to apologize to absolutely no one. The Caps Lock champ does whatever he wants. Yeah!
All right, let's go to the caster desk, and that was disturbing. I'm sorry for that.
What a fantastic game. And I really love to see how GB, Eve, as well as Jake, they really got into that one. So Yike Cannon will be joining us in just a moment for G2 taking on XL. And what can we glean from that? What cooking champion ingredient do you think Caps will bring out today?
Here, trying to predict G2 is like trying to win the lottery. It's never, ever going to happen. But I also got to say, Yamato's attempt at a Conor McGregor reference wasn't really going
Swing and a
so
miss.
great.
Swing and a miss, as you say. I mean, look, yesterday, G2 took that loss. I don't really know how to feel about it because I do think it is fair to say that G2 are playing around, experimenting a little bit, cooking in the draft, as you will. But I just personally do not like seeing Caps on a champion like Malphite. It's too one-dimensional, and I think it limits his ability to impact the game. So
Agreed,
it's not
but
something that I love.
I like that they're trying to mix about this as we say hello to you.
Hello.
Congratulations on
This is the biggest win I've had in a long time.
How much did you study the solo queue, by the way?
Honestly, nothing. But Ender spoiled a little bit, and it got the brain juice going.
Oh, so he literally leaked information to the contestants, and you were able to benefit from it, basically.
I heard a conversation on the side.
So you snuck that info in.
But also call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
I mean,
But you just admitted to cheating, and then you're saying I'm going to do Mystic
to be fair,
Here, bud.
if anybody out of the 3 contestants should have won that game, I would have expected it to be yourself with your experience and pedigree in coaching. I'm going to ask you, what did you think of G2's draft yesterday? What do you think of how and why they lost?
Yesterday, I think they've gotten away with being very cocktail because they always figure out the right way to play it. But I think in that composition, they had to play around the Caitlyn and the Heimerdinger, but they kept going in and they gave the Xayah value. And I think the key thing there is just the Kled on 3. They invited the Aurelia Renekton 4-5, and I think you can pick full AD with Leona Sejuani. And I think this is something that you have to expect when you just do your research on Astralis.
Yeah, I think as well, the fact that you end up getting those early kills onto the Xayah, I mean, she just gets full control of the bot lane. It becomes very, very difficult to try and play it out. So really nice job from Astralis to try and keep that one in check. And now we got to see if G2 can try and bounce back here against XL.
And whether or not XL will be able to replicate the success. I mean, yesterday, Lita had a fantastic performance. That Aurelia was completely unlocked, which is what you expect or anticipate from one of his signature champions. Vetheo's had a slower year than what we saw from 2022. And as you see the XL members taking to the stage, we will be jumping into draft in just a moment or two. But I think, Yamato, when we talk about XL, talk about the struggles they have had this year, some of the changes when we look at them here in spring, what do you want to see from them to challenge and, contest G2?
I think the main thing, what I would like to see is just, as the meta is progressing, we see more and more action around mid lane. And if I think back of Vetheo's greatest moments, it's when Mersa, Zlatan, Zanzara were playing around mid and they created advantages. And I think with Limit's addition to the team, I think he can play the melee champs, and I'm hoping we see that type of progression where maybe the Annie, Lee Sin, okay, Xerxe Lee Sin maybe not a thing, but just the 3v3 around mid lane and then spread the pressure and just play around this Drake, keep simplicity.
I really need to see a bigger impact from Xerxe in particular. Quick update for you. The delay before picks and bans is due to some peripheral issues, which league officials are currently investigating. And Dagda, I'm going to turn to you because I think when we do talk about Xerxe, when we do talk about his play style, he hasn't been able to find really any sort of impact, either from farming up to teamfight level or looking for those ganks. He's just had a slow start and has been kind of outclassed by his peers.
I think a huge amount of it is, one, not being able to track where the enemy opposition is doing or how they want to try and set up a play. So every time we see, say, dives onto the bottom side of the map, he's never really in a position to try and answer for that. But also, even if he's not on bot side, he's not really cross-mapping particularly effectively either. So when you look at like, okay, well, we've lost bot side, let's see if we can try and make something happen on the top end. He's not very willing to do that. Oftentimes you'll end up just going for an invade and maybe a steal away a camp. So I want to see Xerxe either, one, being more cognizant of where the enemy is and setting up so he's there to counterplay, or looking more for those cross maps rather than just getting the CS lead but not really being able to do very much with it.
I think to add as well, my favorite version of Xerxe historically was the one that actually beat me in a best of 5. When he was busting out these champions, it was always ahead of the curve in terms of what he picked. I remember when he busted out on the scene, he was playing the Warwick, the Ivan, the Zax. Maybe if he adds that element of creativity, he can find that edge.
I mean, when you take a look at Xerxe's most played champions, Zac, Trundle, and Ivan are in the top 6, right? So this has always been something associated with Xerxe playing a little bit away from the meta, a little bit his own unique style. The problem or the challenge that XL are facing this year is that style or that approach is simply not finding success. Other junglers with their more meta picks or their own unique approach, like sort of Marang Bo spending a lot of time ganking, are finding more opportunities. Now Xerxe is going up against Yike, who has demonstrated a very versatile approach. He can play the carries, he can play the engages, the tanks, and this is a guy that has absolutely taken over the scene. Yike is going to be a difficult opponent to contain. How the hell do you track him if you're XL?
Well, that's the biggest problem, and it's the fact that as well, we've already kind of touched on it for G2. They're so good at being able to play through multiple lanes that you got to keep track of everyone, not only the fact that Hansam and Mikyx can run away with that bot side.
Well, as you have already heard, XL, the underdogs, taking on G2 Esports. As we jump into the first phase of bans, Yamato, do you think G2 have been cooking more? Do you think they will play steady? Do you think there's any way you can predict this team?
I think on blue side, it's a little bit more predictable. I'm expecting 2-3 counter pick into whatever bot laner except FLICKR on 1-2. I hope they deny Gragas and also Rakan here on blue side. Either pick it themselves or just ban Rakan on blue, please.
Yeah, I mean, also the Ashe going to be taken off the board as well. I think your Annie's still going to be a fairly big one as well. I think it's just so good at the moment with the flexibility that it offers, but we'll have to see exactly what the game plan is. Caitlyn also going to be taken away from Hansama there.
I think with what we mentioned before about tracking Yike, I think the trick against G2 is to track Mikyx, because if he's always on the run, you know that the next play is going to happen there, and that is the strategy that Astralis employed. If Limit can match that they can begin to fight around the 3v3, that's where you can contest G2.
Right now, the Annie was the third and final ban, along with that Ashe and Jace. Sejuani, Caitlyn removed from XL.
Oh, Draven is in, guys.
Will be the final ban.
Yeah, Draven in, Gragas in. There's still a lot of these big picks that can be up and available. And I mean, Hansam has been absolutely fantastic on that Draven. So they're just going to go for that immediately.
Taking a quick
Gorgeous.
look here. I want to just look at this. Throughout the year, 5 games played on Draven, all 5 of them wins, a KDA of 20 for Hansama. He has obliterated everybody that stood in his way.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't expect to see anything different here, especially if Mikyx can go towards something like the Nautilus to facilitate this as well. It's become so incredibly strong for them. And now it gives a definitive lane to try and play through again and punish Patrik and Limit with Yike in tow, like we've seen from the last 2 games that Excel have tried to play.
I wonder if the answer will just be Aphelios. Maybe you can play Varus, maybe you can get away with an Ezreal, but the issue is always G2 have found ways to break any matchup. They lock in the Thresh when Heimerdinger is out, and this is for sure the takeaway with potentially a strong jungler.
Yeah, I imagine you're going to end up going towards something like
Thresh Jarvan maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Jarvan will be really, really strong here, and then you're probably looking, as you say, the Thresh could be the takeaway here, but also just going back towards the Nautilus and just going, hey, look, we're going to have that easy setup here, make sure that we're absolutely fine. And then I'm curious to see exactly how they want to try and go forward, because as the desk was already highlighting, Caps has got so many different things that he can try and bring out in that mid lane.
Question now is, Excel, where do they throw this Gragas? Is the Thresh thrown down in that bottom lane for Mikyx? There is the flex opportunities for Gragas. And the question is, Patrik and Limit, first of all, can they stand the 2v2 against Hansama and Mikyx, who have been the standout duo all year long? And secondly, will Xerxe or Vetheo look to play around, look to try and support that bottom lane, prevent Hansama from running ahead?
I think the main thing we will see in this game, already with the 3 champions locked in, is heavy ganking around bot. We need to pay attention to how the wards are being placed, if Sweeper is going to be started, just to deny that vision, to potentially set up that gank, because Purple Aphelios, very easy to gank. Jarvan Thresh, very easy to gank. Whoever gets ahead in this bot lane matchup is going to have a good time in this game.
I am curious to see exactly what the plan is for Xerxe, though, what they want to try and bring in. Are they just going to give him the Gragas? I feel like it's not going to be the case. So I think there's still a lot of opportunities here for Xerxe to try and take something that's a bit more aggressive into that bottom side. And if you want to go towards something like the Elise even maybe here, just to make sure you can match that early power, you still got the ability to repel some of this engage as well, which could be so crucial in these 3v3s.
I mean, Elise is a champion that we have seen Xerxe play. Look, he's got about 400 professional games, only 11 of them on that particular champion. Is one of the options, and Limit on the other hand, he's got himself a 50% win rate on that Nautilus. Going to be a difficult task to deal with. Yasuo and Olaf banned away. Gragas, what do you think? This is probably going jungle, I would presume, because I don't think it's really a Vetheo champion.
I would assume the same thing. I think that Xerxe had a good performance on the Gragas, and I think the hope here for Excel is that on 4th pick they can pick something that maintains the flex. Maybe something like Lee Sin, something that I've heard in the rumbling, something that has 80 damage, just flex it on 4.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen as we get this back up. But yeah, I'm curious to see exactly what the plan is. Again, waiting for that flexibility to see exactly where the Gragas is going to go. But as well, keeping the opportunity for Vetheo to go for the counter pick. There's so much here for Excel that they can really opt in towards, but I don't think it'll be a set anytime soon.
Okay.
Well, it was Vi locked in, so that's going to be Gragas top lane for Odo, I'm presuming here. And Odo's had 2 vastly different performances. First game of the split was fantastic, picked up a bunch of solo kills, and then got bullied very badly yesterday.
No, for sure. I think just when I think of the Vi Gragas, it's something that Mad Lions have played. It's a combo that works very well. You Vi ult in the Gragas ult, but it's something that doesn't do too well in, of course, the 3v3 fights on bot.
Yeah, I think it's more so just to say, hey, look, we've got a very strong burst mid-jungle that we can actually try and very quickly solo out something like the Draven when the Vi goes in onto the backline, and then just have our consistent DPS coming through from the Aphelios. I feel like Odo's probably eyeing up something like the Cassante or something along those lines on the top side, but BrokenBlade just going to go back towards this Kled once more, so very aggressive, skirmish-heavy team coming through from G2.
Right, so I'm just still feeling that 3v3 on bottom side is going to decide the game. Kled, of course, good to engage in. I feel like if Excel find like a long-range artillery mage on 5, and LeBlanc works too, I will be very, very happy. Something that can poke from a distance is super, super good.
I think when they look at this G2 death ball that has been put together, every single one of these champions wants to be running at you. They can group up, and it's a terrifying 5v5. It's going to be the Ahri locked in at the end. What do you think of Excel's composition here and the answers that they'll have to provide from the early and the mid-game power of G2?
I think the main thing is just that as the game progresses, the way they need to fight is so straightforward. Just play around the Vi ultimate, CC chain, attack the same target, very simple and clean. The main difficulty will be that early game, because if the blue side composition snowballs, very difficult. If Excel can survive, very easy to play.
And that's actually why I like the pivot into the Ahri here. It feels like you set up for a very strong mid-jungle that you can basically go, hey, look, the 3v3 is going to be tough, but we've now got Vetheo in our back pocket with the Ahri. Play through, making sure you shut down Caps, move Ahri with you, and then you're able to disrupt some of those early skirmishes. skirmishes.
Really need to see an impactful performance here from Vetheo. The Ahris here in the LEC have struggled a little bit this year, haven't necessarily taken over games the way they possibly could.
But also from Xerxe, right? We're saying, hey, look, Xerxe hasn't had the best performances so far. This is where he really needs to be on his goals, getting in towards these early lanes, making sure they're snowballing, in particular, shutting down G2 from getting their ball rolling.
Let's talk a little bit about G2's early game now. With that Jarvan in Yike's hands, can literally go anywhere he wants to try set up those kills. Has got a lot of power during the laning phase. So the options available to him, but also theoretically needs to cover. If those lanes are going to be overextended, if those lanes are going to be pushed. I mean, Dagda, you were talking about it. One of the goals, one of the keys that Xerxe needs to do, track Yike and find a way to impact that early game. What do you want to see out of Yike?
A huge amount of it is going to be, hey, look, getting early vision. Again, I think playing through Vetheo in the early stages, working around the fact you've got so much set up on towards this Cassiopeia before she really gets rolling. You can go for these quick 1-2 punches with the flash charm, with a flash in from Vi, and just make Caps very uncomfortable, open up Vetheo for those roams.
I think a very important detail about this level 1 is if G2 can find ways to spot the potential wards, because Jarvan can cross walls, he wants to rush level 2, level 3, and potentially pressure the bottom side. The main thing here for Vi is to change the path in the bot, of course, deny the potential dive that the enemy is going to stack, and then on the push out, Aphelios should have purple gun, and that will be the opportunity for red side to strike.
Man, it's going to be very tense. The early game can determine this entire matchup. I mean, Yamato, you talk so much about that 3v3 in the bottom lane. And that's where my eyes are going to be. I actually just got some updates here from our stats team. Ahri's been played 4 times this year, only 1 win. And Vetheo is going to try to pick up that second. Yike and BrokenBlade stepping into the jungle. There is a reply here from Xerxe, but don't really anticipate anything to happen. The first trade of damage there will just go to Caps.
I wonder if we're going to see a situation where Jarvan is going to look to invade the bottom jungle, 2 push waves into bot and then potential invade. That's something that could happen with this information of Vi being on the red buff.
Of course, I'm going to talk about Vi and Xerxe for another moment or two here. I mean, Xerxe is a player that is being discussed heavily on social media from fans at home, hasn't had the strongest of years. When you look at his stats, team proximity, second in the league at 56%. Kill participation is lowest at 20, and he's behind. So he's spending a lot of time around his lanes, but not really doing a lot.
And that kill participation only goes into the rest of the game as well. Still lowest in the league. And it's a case of, hey, look, he's been sitting around those lanes, but not actually getting a huge amount done. As we talked about, not actually getting cross maps or being able to track the enemy jungler. So I think this game in particular is going to be a big test for Xerxe. Can he finally step out of his shell and be the difference maker here for Xerxe?
Can he maybe punish Hansama and Mikyx, who are already pushing forward on that bottom lane? Vetheo will place that one in the river. You see both Xerxe and Yike pathing towards the bottom half of the map. And exactly as expected during the opening levels here, Mikyx and Hansama pushing forward already, chipping away at that tower, and Patrik starting to lose a little bit of CS, but we do have to keep a very close eye on the river, keep a close eye on those junglers.
I do like that Hansama and Mikyx went for the second wave crash there, though, because if you try and crash third wave, it leaves you so vulnerable for Vi if she wants to go for something sneaky. Even the fact that Vetheo had already started to teeter down towards this bottom side, it shows that at least G2 at the moment are very cognizant that, hey, look, with mid push and with Vi in the bot side, we need to be a little bit more careful. But now that Yike has hit that level 3, now they can start to play that a little bit more aggressive as he's hovering around this bottom side.
I think Yike should know that there's a river here, since the river ward, because of course Ahri placed it. Potentially maybe just clean it. No, he's just going to continue clearing. No action on bottom side. They know Jarvan's position.
Both of these mid laners have been trading fairly heavily. Jungler's just looking for those opportunities, and Xerxe now stepping towards Yike's position, placing those wards down. I really like the vision here from Xerxe. As Hansama will get locked in place for now. Dark Passage available to him. But Patrik and Limit actually come away worse for wear.
I think the beauty of Draven with the change to his passive and how it works, even though you don't get these early ganks going, you don't get those early kills, there's this tension that is building that this passive is going to stack and stack, and you have to do something proactive in order to break it.
Oh! Caps is going to flash forward and picks up the solo kill, but it is traded back under the tower.
So close there, nearly end up getting the solo bolo, but ends up trading one back, and now Yike spots Xerxe on the bot side.
All right, both junglers standing toe to toe. Yike forced to flash over the wall to escape with his life. Limit ready to respond. That's a good play reaction from Xerxe. BrokenBlade chasing forward, dismounted, and will get that rocket shot onto Odo. But they end up trading 1-for-1, 500 gold advantage to G2.
So far, though, Xerxe has actually been doing exactly what we're talking about, making sure he's tracking where Yike is, moves in, gets that ward just beside the enemy Raptors, makes sure that he can spot out the mid play, and then moves down to match the bot play. It's just unfortunate here for Vetheo that he ends up going down.
I really like the miasma placement to just deny, of course, the flash away, and then the charm, of course, to follow up after the flash. Just well played from both mid laners.
Dancing on the absolute edge. Caps able to secure that advantage. Vetheo pushing the wave back in. Both mid laners TP'd in. Keep in mind, Viteo's got that flash still, and say nearing level 6. But this is what I was talking about during the draft. When you see Caps making that play happen on Cassio, you can't really do that on a Malphite, and I just don't like seeing that.
Not with that
personally.
attitude, you know?
No, exactly.
But seriously, I think it is true. The fact that we get Caps onto a bit more of a damage dealer, something that he can be the big carry. But already, even though we're seeing G2 and XL kind of trading team for that, the big winner is going to be on that bottom side. Draven already with a massive CS lead. This is what Hansam has been able to do so effectively for G2.
I think another layer of what just happened in this game, I think the important way that G2 can convert the lead on bottom side is into that Drake. And I think the biggest hope for XL to get a swing back is to punish this Cassio without flash. When Vi is 6, when Ahri is 6, the tools to approach her and attack her is, of course, available for you.
We're sitting in a 3v2 for now. Yike waiting just behind. GTO has just dinged onto level 6, so Limit left the lane, looked for the opportunity, wasn't able to find that engage, and Caps escapes.
But this is why G2 have been so good. They had a ward, Blues award in Riverside Brush and both Pixel Brushes, and now they're looking for the play.
Well, there's the death sentence, already connected, followed forward. Hans Summer's got 125 stacks. He's focused down, he's flashed away, he's below 200, but he stays alive. Mickey's now low and running for his life, as Vito's already used one of those charms. The death sentence goes just a little bit wide. The Foxfire won't find its target, and luckily this time round, nobody goes down.
Blinking health bars, but that was so close to Hans Summer being able to finally cash in. But Patrik now going to be able to push in this big wave on bot, and should be able to crash it before Hans Summer gets back.
Something that I really like about what I'm seeing from XL in these first few minutes, not only have they got a little bit of the answers to Yike's movement in comparison to the 2 previous games, around 2,000 gold at 14 minutes down, 0.45 their KD. I mean, gold difference is sitting 9th is absolutely atrocious. They were able to avoid the engage, and I think they're a little bit lucky that G2 went closer to punish.
One of the big problems that they've had, though, is that Patrik and Limit have been so hard focused in their last 2 games. Even though they are sitting, they were sitting slightly behind, they're now sitting even in this lane. They've actually been able to get themselves into a decent spot, and it feels like as long as XL are able to kind of coast through this, they should be in a relatively okay spot as they start to get in towards the later portion of the game.
Okay, so small CS advantages for Caps and Hans Summer, and with the back timers for XL, this will open up the Dragon, as you were talking about, Yamato. For XL, as Xerxe is getting closer to that level 6, it feels to me like he needs to have an impactful ultimate, try to claw back this gold deficit and push one of these lanes ahead.
I have to point out Vetheo's conditions here in the mid lane is going to deny a big window for them because the flash cooldown is ticking. Vetheo was low mana. They leveraged that into a Drake with the bottom lane prio, and there's no pressure at Cassio at all. Vetheo needed to find the base after that fight in River, but it just didn't happen.
And I think that's why, again, coming back to G2, they're so good at like looking at what the enemy team wants to do and thinking, how can we shut this down? They had a ton of vision all throughout River the first time XL tried to go for that play. And then as Yamato's pointing out, by the time they get around to the second one, well, you're already wasting time around mid because G2 are going for Dragon. The pressure's on XL to try and trade for something, but just the waves, everything just isn't in a good state for them to make things happen.
Yeah, and Xerxe this time will be able to pick up the first couple of hits here on the Herald. He has hit level 6 momentarily ahead of Yike, and actually has backup from Vetheo. Death Sentence will connect onto Limit, and the Dredge Line pulls him to safety. So that was well buffered. And will this be able to be secured? Yike stepping forward. It's in a 3v1 for now. Caps making his way into the river, and that's a big advantage. Odo commits everything for the engage. Cataclysm is thrown down. Caps waiting for the petrifying, won't find the stun, and it's all of a sudden Yike that's taken down. Odo should be traded back as BrokenBlade flashes for the auto. Vetheo's running for his life as the poison is ticking. Can the Wolves finish it off? Just jump down the jungle, creeps dead for Caps.
That's heartbreaking, but in the bot side, we're still going.
All of a sudden, Limit is dropped down. A gigantic cash in for Hans Summer. It's traded immediately back by Patrik. Didn't see how that started out, but a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane.
Honestly, Wu-Tang said it best. Cash rules everything around me. Cream. Draven is now super, super rich. This cash out is going to make the bottom side very, very difficult. And of course, Caps has flash after this situation. I'm not sure where XL is going to look to find the punish because platings are falling.
And it's heartbreaking because we get to see XL trying to make proactive plays. They're looking at the Rift Tower going, okay, we can sneak this away. G2 are on bot side, but they just end up finding that little bit too late of a window where Yike gets a great buffer onto the flag and drag, immediately turns around and somehow manages to get away from this, which forces Vetheo and Xerxe to overextend.
I think the key thing is just that they're burning all of their tools on the Jarvan that actually got his ultimate out, got a good EQ in, and then the follow-up here, we actually didn't see this, so let's see what happened. Mikyx engaging aggressively, and now he's gonna play him in. Oh, the cancel!
Very nicely done by Mikyx. The damage back from Moonlight Vigil, able to at least trade 1-for-1. But Yamato, I gotta pick back up on something you said. All of the tools thrown onto Yike's Jarvan, Caps completely untouched, BrokenBlade able to have a larger impact on that fight, and unfortunately for Vetheo, not finding the charm, not having the time to get those orbs out in the Foxfires, meaning they fall 2,000-ish gold behind. It's 2 kills for Caps. He's already got the Roa stacking and the Kraken Slayer picked up for Hansam. It's such a difficult situation.
Oh, it's super, super tricky. They need to look for picks. They need to find ways to maybe outnumber. BrokenBlade, of course, is running the Ignite. Maybe that is going to be next opportunity with Odoamne has the TP. Find a 5v4 when Kled is catching a wave. I think that's the best way in. They also have the Rift Herald. Maybe they can catch G2 off guard.
I mean, Yike has got that Cataclysm waiting in the tri-bush. Nobody from XL stepping forward. They're placing some defensive vision in the river. Right now, it is once again Mikyx landing the death sentence. Here comes Yike. Cataclysm dropped onto limit. Hansama stays alive long enough to once again cash in. The whirling death picks up a double. And now Patrik's running for his life. Here comes Yike. Flashes available to Patrik, and there's no support. Beautifully done from G2.
If Cash rules everything around Hansama, Yike rules everything around this bot lane. Every time he steps up, he's catching Xerxe when he tries to make a move. And it feels like XL are just a little bit slow to the play. They try to move Vetheo down. Well, they don't get quite into position before the wave is back, but now Vetheo wants to move top.
All right, BrokenBlade is dismounted. Viteo's going to use the ulti, step forward, barrel comes out and taken down by the explosive cask. Odo picks up the solo kill. Yamato, I'm going to have to ask you to leave in just a moment or two, but how do you feel this game is going to play out, and what do you want to see from XL in order for them to pick up the upset?
Honestly, just find some catches. Odoamne has TP. Use your Rift Herald for an advantage. Thank you so very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us. Berlin, put your hands together for your Yamato Cannon as he will once again rejoin the analyst desk. So Dagda, I'm taking a look now at the state of this game. It is a 2,000 gold lead here for G2. 3 kills in Hansama's first pick, Draven. Rift Herald is at least going to be dropped here for a couple extra plates in Vetheo's back pocket, but we've seen in the skirmishes so far, the Ahri has not been able to output a similar or a equivalent level of damage to the Cassio.
The biggest problem is that the whole oh, hang on.
Well,
Vetheo?
there's the charge, the flag, the drag, and the dunk. BrokenBlade, as well as Yike, easily taking down Vetheo.
The charm going wide was kind of the cherry on top there as well. G2 are snowballing this game so effectively, and they've been incredible at doing this. Every single time they seem to take the rift, they've been able to get these leads very quickly, decimate and move around their advantages, and now BrokenBlade, see what he can do.
He's the next target, but it's going to be up to Xerxe to try find something. BrokenBlade is flashless and will be able to pop off Fun Skull. A lot of damage in reply. He's going to look for that shot from the Channons, and now here comes Xerxe once again. Denting blows out. BrokenBlade, if he remounts, can turn this one around. He survived the 2v1 for now. He's a little bit more time. There's another fight in the bottom lane as the Cataclysm, as well as the Whirling Death, pick up another kill onto Patrik. BrokenBlade has remounted. Skull! Has done it for BrokenBlade. He outplays the 2v1 and picks up the kill.
He was waiting with another blast of the shotgun there underneath the tower to make sure he'd be able to just about get away from XL, and now Mikyx back in the mid lane. Limit to answer though.
Well, Limit's not going to be able to find anything. The death sentence going just a little bit wide. And again, fights in multiple lanes. BrokenBlade outplays the 2v1. Yike is able to support Hansama and Mikyx for another kill. The first tower is going to fall here in just a moment. And it is another gigantic lead for G2 in the early game.
And this is the thing, it feels like G2, its efficiency is the big difference maker here. Every time you see Mickey roam, they're not really losing out on it in bot lane, they're getting something for it. When Yike is viewing his jungle path, and he's making sure he's in the right place at the right time to answer for Xerxe without falling behind when it comes to the CS numbers. And now Caps just getting to farm up, and this late game Cassiopeia will be such a massive threat. Even you can see here, Yike is on a ward, and Patrik just doesn't respect it at all.
Patrik just taken out through the flash down as well, and the jungle does not belong to Xerxe. Yike is moving that vision forward, and I think we're going to be able to see this remount in just a moment.
The big thing here is the ultimate from Xerxe doesn't get the full damage because BrokenBlade was dismounting. So you don't get that full burst damage. Even here you can see just a double shot there from the shotgun to get him a little bit more space. But now we're straight back into the action as he's gone.
Cease and desist thrown down, and Mickey is dropped. Vetheo picks up his second kill of the game. He's still down 500 gold, and I think with a numbers advantage, I was feeling confident about the second Rift Herald. Vetheo stepping forward as Hans Summer and Yike waiting. The backup is coming. Caps from the south.
BrokenBlade coming as well. Odoamne does have TP to join though.
His limit, Dredge line connects. Cataclysm is available. Who's going to get locked in? Patrik is not. He's sidestepped for now. Hans Summer's on a rampage with another whirling death. The charm connects. This time Vetheo trying to take him out. But Hans has got the Kraken's Lair. He's got the damage. But it's Vetheo that gets the kill. While BrokenBlade runs down Patrik, and Xerxe escaping for the time being. Flash forward from BrokenBlade. The bear trap on a rope will not find the fat man, but Skull is stepping forward, continuing to chase him out. Pulls Odo backwards. Cap stepping forward too, and Mickey's death sentence is body slammed away. A fight across the entire Rift, and it's a 2-for-2.
And now BrokenBlade and Mickey should be able to turn over to get this Rift out. A very, very close fight that just came down to who could kill the other AD carry faster. And G2 with BrokenBlade able to just about eke that one in. And then look at BrokenBlade. He's 5-1.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Hans Summer's got the Bloodthirster completed as well as that Kraken Slayer, and Vetheo nearly taken out. If that charm had been just a little bit wide, he would not have had the time. Of course, because Vetheo does at least pick up that one kill, G2 were able to win the fights, and Odo just dropped again. I mean, they've stuck around, they picked up the Herald, they simply have a significant advantage, and they are using every single piece of CC to punish Xerxe.
Because they know on bot side there isn't really any pressure.
Oh, look at this. Once again engaging. Dog passage available. If BrokenBlade can get to it, he is taken down. Patrik at least gets a kill. Teleport is being completed. Here comes Vetheo. Charging forward. Needs to find the charm. Hans Summer, stand aside. Whirling death, as well as the autos will pick up just another. I mean, there's just too much damage to deal with. Xerxe cannot stand toe-to-toe.
Every time they look for a pick, it's just more and more members of G2 come out of the woodwork to turn around. Yes, they get BrokenBlade, but now Hans Summer will get the top lane turret. They got the kills in return, and they don't even have to use the Rift Herald here on top side. They won't even have to use it on the mid lane turret either, which is already incredibly low thanks to Caps. They now get to use it on those crucial tier 2 towers as well.
I mean, take a look at the scoreboard. CS advantages, a minimum of 1,000 gold advantage for the top half of the map. 3,600 for Hans Summer on that Draven. And as soon as he was able to pick up that first kill, G2 have just run away with it.
And look, this was a little bit too much of a step forward for BrokenBlade just because Hans Summer wasn't quite quick enough to get off the mark there. But XL returned the favor. They go way too deep trying to follow up on this, not respecting the fact that Cassiopeia had her TP to get up here. And once they realize that Caps is coming into the backline, they want to get the hell out of Dodge before it all goes south.
I mean, Mickey, multi-man flay, the box slowing everybody down, then followed up by the Cataclysm. Hans Summer was just never under threat, never at risk of being taken out. I mean, you look at the damage dealt throughout the course of this game. You mentioned BrokenBlade's impact. He's currently 6-2-2. And he has run Distraction. He has destroyed the back line. He has initiated for kills of Vetheo. This Kled that was blind picked, correction actually, was they knew it was into Gragas, has been very, very impactful. But the truth is, everybody has. They've just run over Xerxe once they started running around the map.
And again, you will have Patrik that eventually become to a point where he is relevant, right? He has gone Gale Force IE, so in a relatively decent spot here. Would love to have a BT as well under his back pocket before he really hits his stride. But the problem is Caps is massive, and G2 don't want to let this up as Yike on the flank.
And of course, the 10,000-ish gold difference Because G2 can just hit them with their wallets. The flag, the drag, the three-man cataclysm. Limit will at least take out Mikyx, but the rest of the squad are petrified, are rooted in place. The barrel throws Caps under the tower, but Vetheo will be the next to fall. Caps is tanking the turret shots and escapes as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 members taken down from Xerxe. And G2 dominates in the mid lane.
The support dies, while on the other side only the support survives. Hansama now will get the tower. They're going to get that immediate charge onto this inhibitor, and with the 20-minute mark just around the corner, Baron is going to be significantly easier for G2 now to pick up as well.
I mean, G2's composition in the mid game just absolutely accelerating. Rift Herald will get that charge, 2 more towers. The inhibitor is under risk. It's 5 towers to 0. It's a 11,000 gold lead. And that Draven was the first pick. That Draven has been influential in this game. But I think more importantly, Xerxe had been unable to answer G2's aggression, G2's rotations around the map. And despite avoiding, what, like 1 gank early on, almost every other skirmish has gone the way of G2.
Yeah, I think it was just a case of the moments that they tried to move Vetheo out of mid lane weren't really working. And at this stage now, G2 are just way too big. Hansama, yes, he gets CC'd in the back line, but BrokenBlade is running through them. Yike has a ton of damage. Caps is coming in on the flank. And everything that we talked about in the early stage about, hey, can Xerxe try and find the windows to get Vetheo involved in that bottom side, just weren't there, and now they're paying the price.
They really are, and I think a little bit of credit yet to G2's positioning and sort of like creative approaches to the team fights. They're using Jarvan's mobility, the ability to get over walls, flawlessly. We saw that late flank coming in from Caps. Even when they're invading, you just feel like they have the advantage in every decision. And right now with Baron being available, as well as the vision being set up in the jungle, Caps is backed up here by Yike, unable to kill Odo for now. Cataclysm locks in Xerxe, whose flash was on cooldown. Caps will pick up that kill, and now 5 versus 4. This lead is just getting even bigger. I mean, itemization-wise, 2-3 items completed here for G2 members, and they should be able to pick up this Baron uncontested.
Yeah, and then look, in G2 again, just playing off 2 lanes. They push mid, immediately have the Kled to follow up. And the cool thing that you always miss about G2 is, like, even on bot side, they've got a slow push starting there as well. So essentially, they have 3 pushing lanes, and with that, they're able to get the Baron off the back of this too. Now they'll be in a position where you can already move BrokenBlade down to that wave that's starting to pick itself up speed in that bottom lane. And on top side, they're already looking for that tier 2.
Of course, going back to that draft discussion just a little bit, some of the options, some of the answers to how G2 are going to play, not working out. The Ahri has not had impact that Xerxe would have wanted. It just makes me think a little bit more and give a little bit more praise to how Astralis approached the game yesterday. You know, that Aurelia was not only a great pick, it was executed extremely well. And I think you've got to be very, very diverse in how the hell you plan to, you know, stop G2.
Yeah, and again, it was Leader having access to that backline that was so big of a difference maker there. The problem now is, like, Xerxe, yes, you technically do with Xerxe and with Vetheo, but realistically, Vetheo doesn't have damage, Xerxe doesn't either. Caps and Hansama are going to be more than happy to welcome you with open arms if you try and dive the backline.
And take a look at the gold differences here. Total gold secured. 1, 2, 3, 4 members of G2, all above Patrik and then Vetheo. So even if Xerxe can find a advantageous position, they're going to get through so many more stats, and G2 are just going to push the bottom lane. There's no answer here, no defense. Xerxe trying to shove in the mid lane, they get punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, BrokenBlade standing 1 versus 5 in the mid lane, and G2 are just like, all right, bro, just take bot lane. That's grand with us.
Oh, man. Okay, so G2 looking to close this one out in style. Xerxe, they picked up that 1 win against Fnatic to open up the Spring Split. Unfortunately for them, have not been able to contain really anybody here from G2.
And it feels like every other team in LEC is going to be cursing Astralis because they beat G2, and now G2 are going to be angry and annoyed and take it out on everyone else. And unfortunately, Xerxe are the first team that they're going up against. And I mean, this G2 just will not stop.
No, they will not. Mikyx goes over the wall, and Limit escapes for now. Mikyx forced to get out. Cataclysm locks in a few. Vetheo is escaping with his ulti. There comes BrokenBlade with the charge, and Patrik gets himself a kill onto Yike. White-Red is the perfect combo for the fight in a 5 versus 4. But it is into the Baron-empowered minions as well. 2 inhibitors have fallen. Xerxe find themselves a consolation kill, but that is about all, as we're a minute away from the Dragon's Soul. G2 have got 2 inhibs down. They have got control of every single part of this rift.
I mean, at least he gets some go back over to Patrik. Again, we're talking about getting towards that BT, but I don't know if he's going to have a finish. I wasn't quite sure how much gold he picked up there off the kill onto Mikyx, but maybe that can push him over the edge, but he's very far away from being able to get that. So it looks like instead, XL are saying, hey, look, screw the Dragon. We're not going to be in a position to contest this, as Odo kind of rightfully showing what G2 can do, so XL will trade onto top side.
Just able to body slam away to safety. I mean, look.
Oh no,
BrokenBlade is now going to find Limit. Fair trap on a rope, pulls him backwards, and the rest of G2 arrive. Hansama and Mikyx as well. That's just unfortunate as all of a sudden Patrik will be the next target. Gets himself a bounty, gets XL's first tower, and the kill will be donated to Hansama. 8, 1, and 6.
This week is St. Patrick's Day, but today is not Patrick's Day. And G2 right now immediately turning on to Xerxe. They want to make sure that they're going to be in a fantastic spot here. They're just taking over topside. They have full control. They don't care about the Dragon. They're just going to go for the end.
I mean, it's just pure style at the moment. G2 can do no wrong. And as we approach the last games of the first week of spring, it does make you look at the bigger picture. 3 games apiece, we see a couple of teams like Astralis, BDS, SK stepping up. G2 having a little bit of fun cooking in their draft somewhat, but once again delivering. It's lost that game to Astralis, and it's all of a sudden XL paying the price. The petrifying gaze, the cataclysm locks XL in, and there's nothing that can be done. 24 kills in 25 minutes, and they might not be done just yet. Moonlight Vigil gets yet another for Patrik, but the Nexus is being focused down by BrokenBlade. Hansama cleanses out the charm. He's looking for another. Nexus is being ignored for now, and it looks like finally G2 will take down XL. That is one of the more difficult games to actually commentate and discuss, because the moment G2 got a minor advantage, they just decimated XL across the map.
And again, I think this is why for G2, a lot of people, myself included, are excited to see them on an international stage. Because when you look at it, no offense to LEC, but G2 just feel head and shoulders above everyone else, and it feels like their real competition is going to be stepping up against teams like Vitality, but also then looking towards teams like Top Esports, the LCK guys. Like, this is where realistically it feels like these guys are really going to be tested.
Well, G2 will be playing Vitality next week in our match of the week on Sunday. G2 versus Vitality could be one of the potential biggest matchups if Vitality can continue to develop and to grow. We'll actually see Vitality in just a moment to close out week 1. And I think my biggest takeaways from what I've seen over the 3 days is that some of the teams that you didn't anticipate or expect to deliver, to pick up wins, to impress, like Astralis, like BDS, like SK, those are the teams that are supplanting the likes of Fnatic and XL, who are floundering a little bit in this new format, in this new season with their new players.
And I think that the big thing that I love about teams like Astralis and BDS is that they're taking these newer players, or at least sticking with players that they have built up themselves, and kind of bringing them to new heights. And it feels like, at least when you look at G2 with Yike, that's exactly their plan as well. Bring in this guy that has had a meteoric rise throughout LFL, the Amazon EU Masters as well. Now coming into this year, this guy's been absolutely insane.
Yeah, plays absolutely everything. And of course, the Player of the Game nominees at LEC on Twitter, BrokenBlade, Caps, and Hansama. I think we will be speaking to Caps in just a moment. For G2, 2-1 on the week. I'll be a little bit bitter about that defeat yesterday, but I'll take one more pot shot at Caps. I think his Malphite was a little bit sucky. I'm just waiting. There we go. Great. I don't know if you heard that. Anyways, Laure, take it away with Caps.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Caps, for joining me today. Nice bouncing back from yesterday. I know that the fans had some strong thoughts about the Malphite picks. Can you explain the reasoning behind this, and what did you think of your performance on the champion over the past 2 days?
I mean, so we were going for some Malphite drafts this week, right? I mean, yesterday they were going full AD. The day before we were flexing it a bit. They kind of picked us top, right? So we got a better matchup for it. So Malphite always clutch in the moment.
Always clutch in the moment. I was talking to Romain backstage, and he was telling me that you had some spicy picks planned. Of course, knowing that it's G2, I'm not even surprised. But that Dylan was actually stopping you from playing them. So I actually want you to look at the camera right now and defend your case to convince Dylan to let you play these champions next week, maybe.
I mean, to convince Dylan, I just want to say, of course, Rainbow the Vayne pick worked out great. The Malphite might have failed yesterday, but it worked the first time. So it's just we don't repeat the same pick, but we keep up with new neutral picks, right? And we always have to stay one step ahead. That's the saying.
That's a very nice defense, Caps. Thank you so much. We are done with week 1 right now, almost 1 game left. But I'd like to overreact on the league. What is your biggest overreaction after this week 1? Who's the best team, you would say? You can't say yourself.
I can't say ourselves.
No.
I mean, probably, I think Vetheo played the best so far. I think they came in strong with like the meta read.
Yeah.
Like they got some strong picks, and they are doing pretty well.
All right, we'll see them against Fnatic in just a couple minutes. Last question for you, completely not game related, but I heard that the fans sent you some nice socks. Apparently, you were wearing the serpent socks, I think, yesterday. Unfortunately, you were playing Cassio today, but what do you have today? Which ones?
I mean, today it's actually the monkey socks, kind of to show off our gameplay, right? Luckily, like I have a very supportive like community, especially from the Discord community, and they sent me a bunch of socks, so I'm wearing them basically for every game day. And so far this year has been bringing a lot of luck. Hopefully they can keep bringing it.
Should have been a Wukong then, maybe in the mid lane.
Yeah, I would have loved to, but still, you know.
All right. We'll see if the champion matches the socks next week. Caps, thank you so much for a fun interview. We're going to take a break here now, and we'll be back for the last game of week 1 in just a couple of minutes. Fnatic taking on Vitality. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This tension that is building, that this passive is going to stack and stack. You have to do something proactive in order to break it.
Oh, Caps is going to flash forward and picks up the solo kill, but it is traded back under the tower.
Oh, nice. Well played. He flashed as well. Yeah. Good call. No mid. Yeah, I'm coming with it. Go! Nice, bro. Let's go, BB. Let's go, BB. I will take it, guys. I'm not there yet. CB. I'm dead. Bad. Wait, if we can turn here, maybe with TP. No, go deep. Yeah, look, TP. Nice. Good. Trade. I go. Guys, mid and top.
Red Bull gives you wings.